Good evening, my friends. This is your host, Raz, speaking. Welcome back to another reading. Tonight, we have a couple of things lined up for you. I've got a brand new advertisement to share with you, a brand new story, and a brand new monologue showcasing a little bit of the backstory behind the narrator, Raz. Also, again, I'd like to remind anyone who wants to submit stories to be read on the channel to please get in contact with me. Also, subscribe to the channel, like, comment, share it, follow me on Instagram, and all those other good things that you would normally do for a channel you support. Now, let's sit back, relax, and get ready for another spooky showcase of reading. Before we dive into the madness that is the mind of Raz, a couple of words from our sponsors. And one quick side note, if you happen to hear whining tonight, my little friend Tucker the puppy is with me. So, no worries, he's doing just fine, just listening along with the rest of us. Attention homemakers! Are you doing your part for the war effort? When you fry your family's dinner tonight, make sure you're using Patterson Patriotic Lard, the only cooking fat officially endorsed by the Department of Morale. That's right, each can of Patterson's contains 100% American hog fat, rendered from pigs that heard the president's speech and volunteered for duty. These patriotic pigs want you to fry chicken in the rendered remains. Here's the amazing part. Each can contains secret War Department additives that may or may not make your family immune to enemy propaganda. We can neither confirm nor deny it. But what we can say, that families using Patterson's are 6 to 7% less likely to be questioned by authorities. Patterson's Patriotic Lard! It's not just fat, it's freedom fat! Available in regular, hickory smoked, and classified formula varieties. Remember, using butter is what Hitler wants you to do. Patterson's Lard, because those loose lips sink ships, but they arteries win wars.
Coming in on a wing and a prayer.
More doctors smoke Asbestos brand cigarettes than any other leading brand. Yes, friend, we surveyed over 4 doctors, and 3 of them agreed. When it comes to cigarettes, nothing beats the smooth mineral taste of genuine asbestos tobacco. Unlike ordinary cigarettes that simply damage your lungs, Asbestos brand cigarettes protect them with a revolutionary coating of fireproof asbestos fibers. Each puff deposits a helpful layer of heat-resistant material directly on your delicate lung tissue. Why, Miss Ethel Pemberton of Schenectady, New York writes, "Dear Asbestos brand, I've been smoking your cigarettes for 3 weeks, and I no longer cough at all. In fact, I no longer breathe heavily during exertion. Thank you, Asbestos brand." Available in regular, menthol, and new Lady Slim model, now with 40% more asbestos for the modern woman. Asbestos brand cigarettes. Smoke yourself fireproof. Warning, pregnant women and children under 12 should smoke no more than 2 packs daily. Asbestos brand is not responsible for petrification. Say, friend, are you tired, run down, lacking that atomic vet that made America great? Well, step right up to your corner druggist and ask for Vigorone Radioactive Drinking Water. That's right, Vigorone harnesses the incredible power of radium, the same miracle element discovered by Madame Curie herself. Each bottle contains genuine radioactive particles scientifically formulated to invigorate your tissues and energize your cellular structure. Doctors agree, radiation is the future. Why, just last week, Dr. Herbert Farnsworth of the National Institute of Things said, and I quote, "I have never seen this product and cannot comment on it," end quote. Vigorone Radioactive Water. It glows so you know it works. Available in original radium, deluxe uranium, and pleasant plutonium flavor. Vigorone, the water that fights back. Side effects may include glowing in the dark, spontaneous combustion, and minor dimensional drifting. Not available in Utah. They move the microphone again. I can tell. It hums differently when it's closer to the vent. They think I don't notice, but I notice everything. That's why I'm here. Observation disorder. That's what they called it. I observed too much. They said these recordings are for evaluation, for my progress, for the board. But no one ever placed them back for me, which is strange. Because if this is therapy, why don't I get to hear myself heal? Unless it's not for me. Who's listening? No, that's paranoia talking. Classic projection. Textbook deflection of institutional anxiety. That's what Dr. Ames says. He writes everything down in that little book. He thinks I can't see from here. But the mirror above the sink isn't a mirror. It's angled just enough so I can see who's behind it. There's no one behind it tonight. Just the red light. The red light that should be on if no one's there. Wait. Is this live? No. No. They don't broadcast these. They archive them. They catalog them. They study them. They don't. Why would there be a broadcast switch? Hello? If someone can hear this, tap something. Anything. Of course. Why would you tap? You're not in the room. You're somewhere else. Kitchen, maybe. Or your car. Or sitting alone with the lights off because you like stories about people like me. How many of you are there? Just one. Or several. Are you listening alone? That's dangerous. Not for me. For you. Because if this is live, then I'm not just a patient. I'm content. Is that what this is? Entertainment? Are you comfortable right now? Warm? Safe? Do you know where I am? I don't. They don't tell me the name of this place. Just facility. Just unit. Just wing. No windows that open. No clocks that agree. Oh, I see. You're part of it. You must be. They're studying reactions, monitoring heart rates, measuring engagement, seeing how long you'll listen before you turn it off. Are you going to turn it off? Go ahead. Try. Still here? Good. Well, that means you're curious. Curiosity is an admission. Tell me something. When I go quiet, do you lean closer? I can feel it. That pull, like your attention is a string tied to my throat. The more you listen, the tighter it gets. What happens when the recording ends? Do I stop existing? Or do they rewind me? Make me say it again, and again, and again, and again. What if you're not listening to me? What if I'm listening to you? Right now, through this, through whatever device you're holding. What if this is a window, not the mirror? Are you alone? Look behind you. No, actually don't. See? You reacted. I felt that. They were right. Observation disorder. I observe too much. Even across walls, across wires, across miles. This is being broadcast. And that means I got out. Not physically, but here. In your head. And once something is inside of your head, it doesn't need doors. I think they're coming. They don't like when I figure things out. If this cuts off suddenly, don't worry. I know where you are now. I'll be listening. Hey everyone. Before we begin tonight's story, I just want to let you all know that tonight's story is based upon a bunch of slashers and killers for Valentine's Day Massacre story, so it does contain killing and stalking and other acts of violence in the story. Of course, this is all fictional, but I wanted to warn you because if you are not inclined to listening to such things, I would suggest you do not listen to tonight's story. Thank you. Let's begin. Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's Sinister Tale. Tonight's tale is entitled Bleeding Hearts. I never liked Valentine's Day. Not because I was cynical, not because I was bitter, but because it always felt like a test. A day where you had to prove something. Prove your love, prove your devotion, prove you were worth keeping. Elena loved it though. She loved the decorations, the candles, the ridiculous heart-shaped candy. So when she found a cabin rental 2 hours north of the city, she booked it before I could argue. Snowed in, she said. Private, romantic. I remember laughing. I remember saying yes. I remember thinking this would be a memory we'd look back on someday. It was. Just not the way I expected. We arrived before sunset. 6 of us. Me, Elena, Ben and his girlfriend Sasha, Ethan and Claire. The cabin sat alone near a frozen lake, surrounded by dense woods that swallowed sound. The snow had already begun falling. Soft at first, gentle, beautiful. Elena squeezed my hand as we stepped out of the car. This is perfect, she whispered. I wish she hadn't used that word. Inside the cabin was warm. Wood-burning fireplace, long dining table, large windows facing the lake. No neighbors, no nearby road noise, no cell signal. We didn't notice that last part until later. At first, everything felt normal. We unpacked, played music, poured drinks, laughed. For a little while, it felt like exactly what it was supposed to be, until the knocking started. 3 knocks. Not at the front door. Not at the back door. on the sidewall, slow, evenly spaced. We all froze. Ethan smirked. Wind hitting the siding? There was no wind. The trees outside were completely still. 3 knocks again, from the opposite side of the cabin, closer to the kitchen. Elena moved closer to me. "Don't open anything," she said softly. We didn't, and a few seconds later it stopped. Just silence, the kind that presses against your ears. I saw him first, through the window, standing between 2 trees near the lake. Tall, broad-shouldered, completely still. He wore dark clothing, but his face, covered. A smooth white mask. No eye holes. No mouth. No expression. Just blank. He wasn't hiding. He wasn't creeping closer. He was letting us see him. Watching. Elena whispered, "Who is that?" No one answered, because none of us knew. Ethan grabbed the fireplace poker. "This is someone trying to scare us." He opened the door. Cold air rushed inside. I followed him to the porch. The masked man had not moved. Ethan walked toward him across the snow. "Hey, you lost?" No response. Ethan swung the poker. The masked man tilted his head slightly and caught Ethan's wrist mid-swing. Not fast, not desperate, just precise. A sharp crack echoed across the lake. Ethan screamed. The masked man twisted his arm backwards in a way arms don't bend, then lifted him, effortlessly, one hand around his throat. Ethan kicked, struggled. The masked man slammed him down into the snow. Hard. Too hard. The impact made a sound I still hear in my sleep. Ethan tried to crawl. The masked man stepped forward and pressed his boot down on Ethan's neck, slowly, deliberately, until the struggling stopped. And then he looked directly at us and began dragging Ethan's lifeless body towards the tree line. No hurry, no panic, like this was absolutely all routine. In an absolute blistering panic, we all piled into the cabin. We locked the doors, barred the windows. We checked our phones, but there was no signal. The power was cut 5 minutes later. Pitch black. Someone started crying. I don't know who. Then, footsteps. Upstairs. Slow. Heavy. We were all downstairs. The footsteps crossed the hallway above us, paused. Then something heavy dropped. Thud. 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 Rolling down the stairs. It stopped at the bottom. It was Ethan's severed hand, still in his glove, cleanly separated. Claire vomited. Ben grabbed a knife from the kitchen. Sasha whispered, "He's not human." I didn't want to believe that, until the back door slowly opened on its own, and he stepped inside. Sasha ran first. She bolted toward the lake. Ben chased after her. I grabbed Elena. We stayed near the cabin. The masked man didn't run. He walked. Sasha slipped on the snow. He reached her in seconds. She screamed as he lifted her by the coat. Ben tackled him from behind. It did nothing. The masked man was unaffected. He grabbed Ben's head with one hand and forced it downward into the frozen lake surface. The ice cracked beneath them. Ben screamed. The masked man slammed him through the ice, held him there. The water swallowed his voice. Sasha tried to crawl away. The masked man pulled Ben back up, lifeless, and hurled him onto the shore. Then he stepped towards Sasha. She begged, promised money, promised anything. He tilted his head, and then stomped her face into the snow. Held it there, calm, still, until she stopped moving. It was just me and Elena now, inside the cabin, barricaded, crying. I told her I'd protect her. I believed it. The front door exploded inward. He didn't charge. He didn't scream. He walked in like he owned the place. I lunged at him with a knife, stabbed him in the chest. Deep. The blade sank fully in. He looked at it, then back at me. No reaction. He pulled it out, dropped it, and then punched me. The world went sideways. I couldn't breathe. Elena tried to run. He caught her mid-step, lifted her off the ground, carried her to the dining room table, pinned her hands. She looked at me. Please. I tried to stand. My body wouldn't respond. He leaned in close to her, and slowly, very slowly, tightened his grip around her throat. No rush, no anger, just inevitability. Elena's eyes never left mine, even when they lost focus, even when they stopped moving. He laid her down gently, like she mattered. That part hurt the most. He walked towards me, removed the mask. Underneath, an ordinary face. Calm, emotionless, human. You were never the target, he whispered. She was. He placed the mask back on and walked out into the snow. Didn't run. Didn't look back. Morning came eventually. Police found me alone. No bodies. No blood. No signs of struggle. Just a perfectly set Valentine's table for 6. One chair at the head, empty, waiting. Every February 14th. 3 knocks, slow, evenly spaced. And I know he's still out there, looking for another perfect couple, another perfect night. And next time, there won't be a witness. Story number 2 is called Hearts in the Snow. I don't believe in Wendigos. Not really. I believed in bad weather. I believed in poor planning. I believed in stupid decisions made by people who think love makes them invincible. And that's exactly what this was. A stupid decision. Lily wanted something different for Valentine's Day. No restaurants, no crowded city, no cliches. So we rented a winter lodge 2 hours north, near the edge of the national forest. It was just the 2 of us. Snow stretched in every direction, thick pine trees, a frozen river behind the cabin. No neighbors, no cell service, just us and the forest. When we arrived, the caretaker had left a handwritten note on the table. Storm warning, roads may close, avoid traveling at night. Lily laughed. Perfect excuse to stay inside together. I laughed too. I wish I hadn't. The storm hit hard. Wind screamed through the trees. Snow piled up against the windows. We lit candles, played music, cooked dinner. For a while it was good. Warm, quiet, intimate. Until the smell hit. Raw. Faint at first, like spoiled meat. Lily wrinkled her nose. Did something die outside? I told her it was probably just the storm stirring things up. But the smell got stronger. And then, the scratching started. It came from beneath the cabin. Long wooden beams supported the structure, leaving space underneath. The scratching was slow, deliberate, like claws against wood. Lily went still. Is that an animal? I didn't answer, because animals don't move like that. Animals scramble. This was careful, measured, testing. The scratching moved from one side of the cabin to the other, then stopped directly beneath us. Silence. And then, a single knock from below the floor. 3 times, evenly spaced. My blood ran cold. The power died. Not flickered. Died. Complete darkness except for candles. The wind outside grew louder. And then something hit the side of the cabin. Hard. The entire wall shuddered. Lily grabbed my arm. What was that? Another hit. Lower this time. Near the door. I grabbed the flashlight and looked through the window. At first I saw nothing. Just snow swirling in the wind. Then something moved between the trees. Tall. Too tall. Thin. Wrong. It stepped forward into the faint porch light. I felt my stomach drop. It stood at least 8 feet tall. Its body was skeletal but wrapped tight with pale skin. Its ribs pressed outward unnaturally. Its arms were too long. Its fingers ended with blackened claws. And its head. Not a deer skull. Not some cliché. Its head was elongated, human-shaped but distorted. Jaw too wide. Teeth too many. Eyes sunken and glowing faintly in the storm. It wasn't just watching us. It was smelling us. It circled the cabin slowly. Not attacking. Not rushing. Hunting. I remembered something I read once. Wendigos don't just eat. They starve first. They weaken you. They make you desperate. Then they come inside. The creature stopped at the front door and leaned close. Its breath fogged the glass. Then it spoke. Not in a growl. Not in a roar. In Lily's voice. Open the door. Lily froze. That wasn't her voice. It was a perfect imitation, but hollow, like sound echoing in an empty cave. Please, it whispered in her voice. I'm cold. Lily started crying. It's mocking me. The creature tilted its head and smiled. The scratching started again, but this time above us. It was on the roof, moving slowly across the shingles, claws dragging, testing for weaknesses. And then something heavy landed directly overhead. The ceiling bowed slightly, dust falling onto the table. Lily whispered, It can't get in, right? The wood above us cracked, just slightly, a long split forming down the center, and a black claw pushed through. The ceiling collapsed inward, wood splintered, snow poured in, and the Wendigo dropped into the cabin. It unfolded into its full height, its head nearly touching the rafters. The smell hit full force. Rot and blood and winter. I grabbed the fire poker and swung. It moved faster than it should have. One long arm caught mine mid-air. The strength was unreal. It lifted me effortlessly and threw me across the room. I hit the wall so hard I couldn't breathe. Lily screamed. The Wendigo turned toward her slowly, not rushing, enjoying it. She ran to the back door. It lunged, covered the distance in one unnatural stride. Its claws wrapped around her waist. She kicked, scratched, screamed my name. The Wendigo lifted her toward its face. Its jaw unhinged wider than any humans could. Too wide. It didn't bite down immediately. It whispered into her ear, something I couldn't hear, and Lily's screaming stopped. Her body went limp. Not dead, just still. Like something inside her had been taken first. Then the creature bit down. Hard. Her scream cut off completely. It didn't rush. It fed slowly, methodically, like this was sacred. I tried to stand. My legs wouldn't respond. The Wendigo looked at me, blood dark against the snow on the floor. Its glowing eyes locked onto mine. And for a moment, I understood something. It wasn't just hunger. It was emptiness, endless, unfillable. It stepped toward me, slow, measured, each step cracking the wooden floor. I whispered, "Why?" It tilted its head, and in Lily's voice again it answered, "Love feeds the sweetest." Then it grabbed me. The storm passed. Rangers found the cabin collapsed inward. No survivors, no clear animal tracks, just massive footprints leading into the forest, and something carved into the wood near the door. 2 hearts, intertwined, scratched deep into the cabin frame. Every February, hikers go missing in that forest. Always couples, always during snowstorms. And sometimes, if you're alone in winter, you might hear someone you love calling your name from the trees, begging to be let in. If you answer, the hunger answers back. What an interesting tale. We have one more left for you tonight. The final tale of the evening is called Valentine's Day, Dead in Love. The city was glowing red. Heart-shaped billboards, couples filling restaurants, street performers in Cupid costumes. I was on a rooftop overwatch, rifle steady against the ledge, because this wasn't normal Valentine's Day. This was Containment Day 47. The outbreak started in January. They still don't know what caused it. Virus, bioweapon, mutation, doesn't matter. They call them infected. We call them devoured. Because they don't just kill. They tear through you like hunger itself is alive. The first scream cut through the music below. Then another. Then dozens. I looked down. A man in a red suit was sprinting through traffic, covered in blood. Behind him, they came. Hundreds. Bodies moving in, broken, twitching strides. Some sprinting, some crawling, some climbing over cars like insects. Their eyes empty, their mouths open in soulless rage. They hit the crowd like a tidal wave, and the city broke. Rooftop units, fire at will. That was Commander Ray's in my earpiece. I didn't hesitate. First shot dropped a runner mid-stride. Second shot took one climbing a bus. Third, there were too many. They weren't mindless. They moved towards sound, toward panic, toward love. They swarmed couples first, people holding hands, people hugging. It was like they were drawn to connection. I reloaded. Below, civilians were screaming, slipping on rose petals, and drinks spilled as the infected tore through the crowd. Our barricades collapsed in seconds. Fall back to grid 3. I grabbed my rifle and sprinted for the fire escape. Gunfire echoed through the city, explosions in the distance, helicopters overhead. By the time I hit the street, it was already war. National Guard units firing in formation, Humvees pushing through traffic, zombies slamming into riot shields with bone-breaking force. One of them leapt onto a soldier's back and dragged him down. 3 more piled on. He didn't even finish screaming. I emptied a magazine into the mass. They dropped, but more filled the gap instantly. They weren't slowing. They were multiplying. Valentine's Heart Plaza was supposed to be the world's most romantic centerpiece. Giant glowing red sculpture in the center. Now it was a battlefield. We set up a defensive line around the statue. 50 soldiers, hundreds of civilians behind us, and thousands of infected pouring down every street. Commander Ray shouted, "Hold the line. If they break through here, it's over." The first wave hit. It felt like being struck by a freight train. They slammed into the shields, clawed over each other. Some of them didn't care if their bones snapped. They kept crawling forward anyway. I switched to sidearm when my rifle jammed. Shot after shot. Close. Too close. One lunged at me. I smashed its skull with the butt of my gun. Another one grabbed my vest and pulled me down. I felt teeth scrape my armor plate. I drove my knife into its temple, rolled free, but there were so many. So many. That's when we saw it. The brute. Twice the size of the others. Skin torn but muscles intact. It moved through the horde, shoving the smaller infected aside. It roared. Not mindless. Not empty. Angry. It picked up a parked motorcycle and hurled it at our defensive line. 3 soldiers went down. The brute charged. Gunfire peppered its chest. It barely slowed. It grabbed a Humvee and flipped it on its side. The line shattered. Civilians screamed and ran. The infected flooded through the gap, and the massacre began. I found myself back to back with Ray's near the giant heart sculpture. Red emergency lights flashing across everything. He was bleeding from the shoulder. "Happy Valentine's Day," he muttered grimly. The brute charged us. Ray's fired a grenade round. Direct hit. The explosion knocked us both flat. Smoke filled the plaza. For a second, silence. Then the brute stepped out of the smoke. Burned. Angrier. It slammed Ray's into the statue so hard the metal bent inward. He didn't move again. I was alone. Alone in the city of the dead. They came from every direction, crawling over cars, dropping from rooftops, busting through restaurant windows. The plaza became a sea of bodies. Gunfire dwindled. Screams faded. I climbed onto the Shattered Heart statue, firing down into the mass. Magazine after magazine, until I was empty. The brute climbed after me, metal bending under its weight. I drew my knife. Pointless. It grabbed me by the chest, lifted me high above the crowd. I could see the whole city burning. Helicopters crashing. Skyscrapers lit with emergency flares. The brute leaned close, its breath hot, rotting. And behind it, the entire horde looked up at me. Thousands of them, watching, waiting, like it was a ceremony. The brute threw me into the crowd. They didn't kill me immediately. They piled on, weight crushing my ribs, hands clawing, teeth tearing through my armor. I fought, kicked, punched, screamed. It didn't matter, there were too many. The last thing I saw, the Valentine's Day heart sculpture collapsing, falling into a sea of infected, shattering. Military drones recorded the aftermath. No survivors in downtown zone. Not a single heartbeat detected. The infected wandered the street, slow now, patient, waiting for the next city. And somewhere in the rubble, the brute stood atop a broken heart sculpture, looking out over the ruins, victorious. Valentine's Day belonged to them now. And next year, there won't be candlelit dinners. There won't be roses. There will only be hunger. Hello everyone, it's your host Raz here. Join us for a new story next week. Same time, same place. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment and share this video with the people you think might like it. And as always, be safe and sweet dreams, my creepy little nightmares. Bye-bye. Mr. Nub.